These bullies decided to erase her from the school history, make her invisible to everyone, turn her into a ghost, and act like she didn't exist at all, and the whole school joined them. You will be shocked to know that there are bullies in schools who will do crazy and unbelievable things and be so unhinged. In the heart of Oyo State, nestled among the long hills of Ibadan, stood Kayama International High School, an institution steeped in tradition and history. The school was a center of learning and discipline, where students who attended were not only groomed to excel academically, but were also taught the values of leadership, resilience, and integrity. The school itself was a sight to behold, its towering gates, framed by lush gardens, ancient trees shading the pathways that crisscrossed the sprawling grounds, and whitewashed walls that glowed under the sun. The school is expensive and affordable only to rich people and only a few students on scholarships. In this school, there is a group of 4 girls, well known for how they carried themselves: Mandy, Trisha, Tasha, and Novi. These were the daughters of the most richest and most prominent people in Oyo State. They were spoiled rich kids. Mandy, Trisha, Tasha, and Novi are full of themselves, and they are known to bully other students, especially those in the scholarship program. Mandy is the leader of this group, and whatever she says goes. The other 3 always do what she says. They always have Mandy's back. Gina was the only daughter of Mama G. She had been raised by a single mother, and her entire life growing up, she had never seen her father. She didn't even know who he was. Gina always had a dream of joining Kayama International High School. Even though they couldn't afford it, their life was medium, not really poor and not rich, just in between. She always worked hard to attend the school through scholarship. After finishing her junior school exams, she performed well and was among the top students. She got the scholarship to join Kayama International School. This was one of the happiest moments of her life, since this was a dream come true. When she got there, she fell in love with everything in the school: the beautiful environment, the class made of glass, and how neat and beautiful the students looked in their uniforms. Gina fell in love with the friendship between Mandy, Trisha, Tasha, and Novi. She admired how they carried themselves and how close they were. They were always happy together and had standard class. Gina had never had a close person in her entire life except her mom. She became so desperate to join this friendship, and this gave Mandy, Trisha, Tasha, and Novi a chance to treat Gina however they wanted and use her however they wished. Academically, Gina became an excellent student. She was loved by teachers for her smartness and referred to as a genius. She loved reading. She would always read ahead of time. During class session, she would answer all the questions, and this didn't sit well with Mandy and her group. They started acting way different with her and making sure her life was miserable at school. This girl is getting on my last nerves. I mean, who died to make her king? Mandy said. Trust me, I know. She had taken away all the attention, and everybody is now talking about her. Not right, Tasha said. I hate this, and we need to do something before we become irrelevant in this school. Trisha said. Okay, so what's the plan? Now that she believes we are her friends, Novi asked. Let's use that to our advantage. Let's make her life miserable, Mandy said. All the other three girls smiled, and both came up with ways to execute their evil plan to make Gina's life a living hell. The next day during lunchtime, Gina came to the table where Mandy, Trisha, Tasha, and Novi were seated having their lunch, carrying her lunch. But the moment she sat down at the table, all the four girls stood up, walked away, and left her there. Gina was confused by how everything was playing out, and in the evening she asked Mandy what was wrong and if she had done anything to them. Then Mandy said no and that everything was okay. Gina felt relief, but she couldn't help but notice the distance between herself and the four girls. On the weekend, students had swimming activities. All the students went there to have fun. Gina couldn't swim. She had this childhood memory of the swimming pool, where she nearly died and her mom almost died as well, saving her life. So she just went by the school swimming pool to have a good time with other students, but she did not enter the water. She found it traumatizing to be in water. So she always sat on the sidelines and told stories with other students who couldn't swim as well. They would talk and laugh together and feel the fun of the day while others were swimming. One weekend, Gina got to the swimming area a little late because she decided to take a little time to study before joining other students. Mandy, who was swimming, saw Gina, and she immediately called her to come near the pool. Hey Gina, over here. I would like for you to do something for me, Mandy said. Okay, sure, Gina said. When Gina got near the pool, Mandy pretended to try and give something to Gina, and before she knew it, Mandy pulled her into the pool. Gina was so shocked and scared. She was in the pool struggling, facing her greatest fear, while Mandy and the three other girls started laughing, and other students joined them, and they all laughed at Gina. While in the water, Gina got a panic attack and fainted. She became irresponsive. Then Mandy, Trisha, Tasha, and Novi got out of the pool and left her there. But when Bio saw her irresponsive, he immediately jumped into the water and helped Gina out. He gave her first aid, and then Gina responded again. Though she looked so scared, after a few minutes, she got the panic attack again. Just breathe with me. Deep breaths in and out, okay? Bio said as Gina nodded. Okay. 1, 2, 3, then breathe out slowly, Bio said. After a while, Gina was now okay and settled. Why are you so scared of water like that? Did something ever happen to you? Bio asked. Yes, but I'm not ready to talk about it. I'm sure Mandy forgot about it, Gina said. Wait, you mean she knew? Bio asked. Yes, she's my friend. I had told her about it, Gina said. What? Gina, that's not your friend. That seems to me like they did it intentionally. Didn't you see how they just left you there and walked away? You could have died. I know people are scared of them, but I'm not. We are going to report this. Come on. No, these are my friends. They can't do that to me. I'm sure she forgot. It's a mistake, a misunderstanding. I won't report anything. Just respect that, please, Gina said as she stood up and walked away. What? This is unbelievable. Gina, wait, Bayo said as he stood and followed her. The next day, while Gina was sitting on the swing in the swinging ground area, she was a little upset by what had happened at the pool the previous day, but she was still convincing herself that it wasn't intentional but a mistake. At that moment, the four girls approached her at the swinging ground. Hey Gina, how are you? Mandy said. Yeah, I'm fine, Gina said, looking a little upset, and Mandy could tell. Hey, I'm sorry about yesterday. I forgot. You know I wouldn't do anything to hurt you, not intentionally, right? Mandy said, giving a fake apology. Yes, I know. It's okay. Really, Gina said, and the group warned her again. As time went by, Mandy and the other three girls realized that Gina and Bayo were getting close. They were together most of the time, and Mandy took this as a threat to them. So they came up with the plan to separate Gina from Bayo. One day, they called Gina and told her to stop her friendship with Bayo. Guys, Bayo is a good guy for real. I don't see anything wrong with him, Gina said. He tried to take advantage of me one time, inappropriately, and I can't stop but think that he will do the same thing to you. You know we care about you, Novi said, faking a sad face. What? Is that why he is so nice to me? He's mistaken. I am so sorry, Novi. You went through that. I didn't know, Gina said, and from that moment on, she cut her friendship with Bayo completely. They now tend to bring her close, though it was more like a master-servant friendship. Mandy had a crush on a boy called Sam. He was smart, popular, and handsome too. And after a long chase, Mandy and Sam got close, and in Mandy's head, she thought she had won him and were dating, but for Sam, he was just being friendly and nice. After spending more time with the girls, Sam fell in love with Gina. Wait, I thought you and Mandy are, Gina said. No, she's just a good friend, Sam said. Does she know that? 'Cause way I see it, she knows you guys are dating and that you like her, Gina said. What? No. She got the wrong impression. I don't like her like that. Not in that way. No, I see her as a friend, and that's all, Sam said. Then you should let her know. Tell her just what you told me now, instead of leading her on, Gina said. Okay, sure, I will, Sam said. While they were talking in the locker room, they lost themselves staring at each other. Then the air grew intense, and in a few seconds, Sam leaned in and kissed Gina, who didn't resist until like 2 minutes. This is bad. Oh my God, Gina said as she ran off. Damn, Gina, wait, Sam said as he ran after her. This entire time, Tasha had seen them and recorded them kissing, then took the recording to Mandy. What? This piece of shit. A snake. Clearly she wants to take everything from us, Trisha said. It is time she learns who we truly are, Mandy said. She messed with the wrong people. She won't like me, Mandy added. She better be ready for what's coming to her, Novi said. She has no idea, Tasha said. The next day, when Gina got into class, her books and chair were not at their usual place. where she usually sits. The space was empty, and the whole class started laughing the moment she asked about it. Then Mandy told her it was outside, so she went to get them back. That evening, Gina decided to face Mandy, Trisha, Tasha, and Novi. "Girls, what's wrong?" Gina asked. "Are you serious? You stick your throat down my man's mouth and act like you didn't nothing?" Mandy asked. "Hey, he came up to me and he also said that you are not dating, that you two are just friends. Besides, I didn't mean for that to happen. I'm sorry," Gina said. "Just be ready for what's coming. Let's go, girls," Mandy said as they walked away. "Mandy, I'm sorry," Gina said, tears in her eyes. From that day, Mandy and her other girls swore to make Gina's life difficult at school and made sure to isolate her from everybody else. They would come to the dining and take her food away, and other students would laugh at her. Gina was devastated. She would cry, but she wouldn't report any of the incidents because Mandy wouldn't let her. She thought that would keep her out of trouble. When Gina went to the locker room to pick books from her locker for the next class session, Mandy, Trisha, Tasha, and Novi were in the locker room. Mandy put her foot, then Gina hit herself and fell on the ground. Then all the four girls started laughing. "Oops, sorry," Mandy said as she bursted out laughing. Then they walked away, leaving Gina on the ground. Gina couldn't hold her tears. She sat in the locker room crying and had a feeling this wasn't going to stop. But again, she couldn't say anything. She stood up, picked up her books, and headed to class. Gina is an overly silent person. She doesn't say much most of the time, and she also doesn't know how to express herself. So most of the time, she just swallows the pain and buries it inside. Mandy, Trisha, Tasha, and Novi came up with a main game plan against Gina. These bullies decided to erase her from the school history, make her invisible to everyone, turn her into a ghost, and act like she didn't exist at all. And the whole school joined them. They wrote little notes on small pieces of paper and supplied them to the whole school to convince other students, and also all the students were manipulated, and almost all the students were manipulated and accepted to go with the plan. When Gina got to school the next day, they had turned her into a ghost. Everybody was acting like they couldn't see her or hear her. Everybody would pass and bump into her. She fell and no one cared. Nobody was talking to her. Even when she tried, nobody would respond to her. "Hey guys, hello," Gina said, looking confused in the school hallway. She didn't understand why people didn't see or talk to her. She started believing that she might be dead and only a spirit. All of this started affecting Gina a lot because it went on for days. Gina started getting depressed. Her grades started going down. Her performance became so poor, and teachers started being concerned about how the best student in school would start performing poorly all of a sudden. On the other hand, Gina was losing herself deeper and deeper. She couldn't concentrate on anything, and she didn't tell anyone, not even her mother. She had to pretend she was okay whenever she was around her mom. Before Gina could even heal and process all this, Mandy and her group came up with a plan to take something so precious from Gina. They paid Brandy, a boy at school, to take advantage of Gina, and on the night of the school talent show, Gina insisted with her mom that she wanted to go. Then her mom let her. When she entered the school compound that night, Brandy was waiting for her. He pretended to be nice to her and she fell for it. He convinced her to take him to the locker room, that he wanted to pick something before heading to the show. And when they got into the locker room, Brandy forced himself on her. She screamed, "Help! Somebody help me, please!" Gina called out while struggling to help herself as well. In the struggle, she managed to hit Brandy where he couldn't resist. He fell down on the ground, crying in pain, and Gina saw an opportunity to save herself. She ran towards the door to get out, but it was locked. She then realized this was a plan. Luckily for her, Sam was passing by and he heard her scream. Sam came and hit the door so hard that he managed to break the locks and get in to save Gina. He beat up Brandy in anger to almost kill him, but Gina stopped him. "Sam, you will kill him. Look at him. Let's do this the right way," Gina said, crying as Sam left Brandy on the ground and came to her. "Gina, are you okay? Did he?" said Sam, tears in his eyes. "No, I managed to hit him before he could. I am just scared, anxious, and I think I'm having a panic attack," Gina answered as she had difficult breathing. Then Sam helped her. "Oh, thank God. I'm so sorry. We have to report this, but let's get you home first," Sam said. When Gina got home, she told her mom about everything that had been happening to her at school, and she even wanted to change and go to another school. She felt that was the height of it. Enough was enough, and she couldn't do it anymore. Her mom was shocked to hear all that had happened to her daughter in that school. She had tears in her eyes, feeling so bad about what her daughter had endured and the fact that she couldn't realize that her daughter was going through so much. "Gina, why would you keep quiet while going through such hell? No one should endure such. You know I always got you. These students are going to pay dearly. Trust me. I'm so sorry, my daughter. We will get you well, okay?" Mama G said. "Mommy, I was scared," Gina said. "Oh, my baby. Not anymore. Don't ever let anyone take advantage of you and use you again," Mama G said, hugging her daughter in comfort. The next day, Mama G accompanied Gina to school to talk to the school principal and report the issue. When she got to the principal's office, she was so angry. She had a history with the principal back in the day, dated, and that's how she got pregnant with Gina. Gina is the principal's daughter, but they decided to keep it a secret from Gina and everybody else in the school for security purposes, and Mama G wasn't ready for that as well. Gina thinks she's in Kayama International High School on scholarship, but the truth is that her father has been paying her school fees the entire time. In the principal's office, "Johnson, you let my daughter be bullied under your nose. I thought you said that you would protect her." Gina is losing her mind. She had developed depression, and last night she was almost raped by one of your students. Do you know that? I knew I shouldn't have let you back into our lives. I shouldn't have trusted you. I should have taken her to a different school. You couldn't protect your daughter, Mama G said, tears in her eyes. Oh my God, what? I didn't know. Her teachers brought up the issue that her performance was getting so bad. Her grades were dropping. So I was planning to talk to her and you as well. I didn't know about any of it. The kids responsible are going to pay. But first, we need to talk to our daughter and tell her everything. Maybe if she knew, she would have found the courage to come to me before things got out of hand. Let me hear everything from my daughter. They are going to serve as an example, Mr. Johnson said. He then sent for Gina. When Gina came into the office, they explained everything to her, why they had to keep it that way. Mr. Johnson and Mama G had a very bitter breakup, and after that she never wanted to see him ever again, until years later when he came back and begged to be in his daughter's life. They also apologized to Gina for keeping this from her and that she deserved to know, and they all hugged together. Gina was so happy. She now had Sam and both her parents on her side. Mandy, Trisha, Tasha, and Novi and Brandy were called to the principal's office and told to come the next day with their parents. Then the meeting was set. On the day of the meeting, all the parents of the students involved in the bullying came and attended the school disciplinary board meeting. Parents, we have called you here today because your teenage kids are responsible for bullying their fellow students. The bullying was both emotional and physical. They erased her, turned her into a ghost, pulled her into the pool where she almost drowned, and they almost got her raped. They got their fellow students into serious depression. They will have to face the consequences. The police are on their way here. Let this be a warning to any student who would think of bullying and torturing a fellow student, and these students will be expelled from this school, Mr. Johnson said. Then after the meeting, Mandy, Trisha, Tasha, Novi, and Brandy were expelled from school, and they were taken by the police to juvenile. After that, Gina had a new beginning with Sam and both her parents in her life. She felt a real friendship, a real connection, and a real relationship. Her life became so peaceful and gave her a chance to be the best student she had always been. But before all that, she was taken into counseling for her mental health. Then after 3 months and after that, she was back on track again. Gina learned that there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes friendships and relationships are fake and should not be forced. If you are not valued, it's okay to leave. Walk away before it's too late. Do not stay in the wrong and toxic relations for too long. It will only drain your energy. And always remember to know your worth. Do not overstay in the wrong places. Don't be too desperate for people's attention, love, or friendship. Just be yourself. Love yourself more. And always choose yourself. Thank you so much for listening and watching. To my returning subscribers, I love you and appreciate you guys. And if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe, like, comment, and share with your loved ones. Until next time, always take care of yourselves. Bye bye.